Let's talk about Angular CLI caching, and in connection with that, explore the purpose of the .angular folder. The .angular folder is one of those behind-the-scenes parts of an Angular project, and I think that most developers ignoring this folder, but this folder actually plays a big role in performance and how the Angular CLI works. What is really .angular folder? It is basically Angular CLI internal brain and also cache storage. This folder is managed and automatically created by Angular CLI every time when we use ngserve command or ngbuild. We can try. Let's first delete this folder. And we will see that if we run ngserve again, after it's finished, .angular folder will be created again here. So if you're asking why this folder exists, here is answer. Angular builds can be often slow, especially in real large applications. So Angular stores cached build results here to avoid rebuild of everything again and again. And when you run ngserve, Angular will compile your application. Next time you run ngserve, it reuses cached parts if nothing changed. This will dramatically improve rebuild time and startup time for development server. So if this .angular folder exists, Angular CLI will use it and Angular will not rebuild everything again. Angular will track what files changed and will rebuild only affected parts. So let's see now what we have inside this folder. There is cache folder. Here all cached data lives. Inside that folder we have version folder, in our case 21.1.3, and it keeps cache specific to Angular version. This versioning will prevent conflicts, for example after upgrades of Angular. Inside this folder we have cache for specific project, in our case test templates, and here inside we have this white folder. What is white? White is modern frontend build tool. Angular used to rely heavily on Webpack. It is slower, heavier. Now it leverages White for development server behavior, as build for super fast compilation. As a result, we are getting instant server start, lightning fast hot reload, and smarter caching. So generally here we store cached data from the development server and build process to make your application start and reload extremely fast. Inside white folder there is deps folder. Deps is doing multiple jobs at once. Here we can see this @Angular libraries, and these are third-party libraries from Node modules that White has already processed, and they are converted in ECMAScript modules, optimized for fast browser loading. We can see it's a very big file. And sometimes White merged dependencies into chunks, like here. And why? This reduces number of requests and speeds up development server performance. We can see here also map files used for debugging in browser dev tools, mapping optimized code back to original source. There is also metadata JSON, and this file contains information about what dependencies were processed, their versions, and optimization details. The metadata JSON is important because Angular White uses it to decide, do I need to rebuild this file or use cache? Okay, and that's it for metadata JSON. And finally, here in depths folder, we have this package.json, which contain information about module type and dependencies. That's everything for depths folder. And we can notice here also that inside white folder there is this ts build info file, and this file stores metadata about your previous TypeScript build so that the next build can be much faster. Okay, and that's everything about folder structure of this .angular folder. And you may ask logically, looking all these things, do I need to edit this folder sometimes? So answer is no, never. Reasons: so files there are auto-generated. Changes will be overwritten if you change something, and if you change some file, you can break builds, maybe. Okay, but you may ask again, okay, I cannot add it, but can I delete it? Yes, and sometimes you should. It's safe to delete when a build is acting wired, cache is corrupted, or after major Angular upgrade. And finally, what if you don't want to use caching? Can you disable this? Yes, we can set this in Angular JSON file here. Cache enabled false. And with this, Angular folder will not be generated after ngserve command. We can try this. Let's delete folder first. Okay, stop this server and run again our ngserve command. We can see that .angular folder here is not generated after this command, and also notice that we have warning here in terminal. You can see this. So basically you should use only this if you are debugging build issues. In other cases, cache is good to be enabled. Okay, and with this we completed our video about the Angular CLI caching system. I hope you learned something new. If you like my videos, please subscribe, like, and see you in the next video.